Okay, hey guys, first video in quite some time, but don't worry, I have it. Let's close the window. The foghorn's going off when it's as clear as anything outside, so... Right, so this is an unboxing of the MSI FM2-A75IA-E53. Now, let's dissect this a little bit. The FM2 stands for, in this case with MSI, it stands for the socket, because it's the FM2 socket from AMG, which means it supports the A4, A6, A8 and A10 APUs. The A75 is the chipset. So in the FM2 range of chipsets, we've got the A65, the A75 and the A85X. So A75 sits right in the middle. The I means it's a mini ITX. In this case, it's like with MSI with their micro ATX boards, you tend to have an M there instead, and then this is the A. I don't know what that stands for with MSI. And 5.3 is sort of its position in its in the range of A75 motherboards they offer. So that's sort of middle range. So what's good about this board? It's compatible for Windows 8, as you can see on this sticker right there. If I zoom you in there, also Windows 7. It says the same there about it being socket FM2 and the processors it supports. If I just zoom it out a bit here by moving the box, not the camera. You see it supports the 1 second overclocking of OC Genie 2, Click BIOS 2, which is their UEFI BIOS. Love it. I have it on my main PC, runs an MSI board, and I love the BIOS. It's very nice and easy to use. And it's also got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth capabilities. Swapping us over to the back, we have more sort of detailed specifications about the BIOS and how it has a unified BIOS. So it has software that you can use in Windows that looks identical to the BIOS you use at boot up. And just some other features there. Let's see what they say. The benefits of overclocking your system in 1 second. So then you've got some more detailed specifications and an I/O preview, but we'll go over that when we get inside. Now, let's see, shall we? Inside the box we have a I/O shield, and you can see all the nicely labelled ports. It's not sort of, one thing I've always seen with MSI boards is they're not really the most top quality of I/O shields, but you know, they'll do. They're only meant to fill a hole sort of thing. No, they don't have to be that good quality really, unless you're being really picky about it. We've got some black SATA, what I would imagine are 6 gigabit a second cables. Yep, two of them, each right angled and straight edged. Here we've got our Wi-Fi antenna. Now with this, you can either plug it directly into the board with that, or if where your board is you don't get a lot of signal, you can use this little you can plug it into this little device here instead, and then plug that into the motherboard, and it acts as an extender basically. A very compact user guide. Now with this being such a small board, like I said, mini ITX, there's not going to be a lot really for MSI to tell you, but it's multi-language, so very helpful if English isn't your first language, or let's pick another language here. French, if French isn't your first language, then you've got other languages to choose from, which is very good. This is a quick installation guide. Despite the size of the motherboard, it is still quite massive. This is actually going to be bigger than the motherboard, I can guarantee it. and then we have the drivers and utility disk. I would recommend downloading the latest drivers online, but sometimes you might need a disk to install your internet drivers if Windows doesn't do it automatically, so you can download the latest ones. And onto the motherboard. Move this tiny box out of the way. Whoops. Nice anti-static bag. And there we have the board. Before I put it down there, try and see if I can adjust the camera a bit so it's not so tiny for you. Right. So, just to give you an idea on size, on just how small this is, here is the Google Nexus 4 smartphone, or the LG Nexus 4, whatever you want to call it. It's a 4.7 inch screen, and as you can see, if I just balance it off there, it pretty much the same size as the motherboard really. A couple of these and you're filling the motherboard up. Just another idea. Here is the Thermalright Silver Arrow, which recently suffered quite a big drop and has some bent heat pipes. As you can see, if I was to place that roughly where it would sit, you'll lose the motherboard. In fact, it overhangs the PCI slot by the looks of it. Oh, if you sit in that way it doesn't. That's good. Oh no, you can't have it that way because of the... Okay, so you can't even install this because by the looks of it, if you install a big CPU cooler like that, you can't install something in this PCI Express 2.0 slot. So, let's go over the motherboard, shall we? While I take a seat on the desk. First off, we have two DDR3 dual channel slots, and they support up to, and I'm actually going to have to look at the specifications because I'm not much of an AMD man, I will admit that, so I'm not too sure. 1866 for speed, so that's 1866 megahertz. Supports up to 16 gigabytes of it. Okay, here along the top of the board we have the 24 pin. And then we have 4 SATA 6 gigabit a second connectors. One front USB, that's USB 3, and then you have a front USB 2. Here we have a nice little heatsink. What I imagine is for the chipset. Here we have two 4-pin fan controllers, so if you do fit a nice big heatsink like this, that normally has 2 fans on it, then you can plug them both into their individual fan controllers. If I move the board around a little bit, so you can see, this yellow here, that is the Cmos battery, or the battery for the BIOS, and it plugs into a small sort of 2-pin right about there. That little white bit, yep. You have this FM2 socket itself with its little bracket. There we have a 4-pin for the CPU power, and then we have a full 16x PCI Express slot. Now I'm trying to find where it looks like that there is front audio, and can't really see where you plug in your headers for like power button and stuff like that, but I'm sure they're on there somewhere. Okay, now I'm going to actually have to move some behind the camera so I can do this decently. Rear I/O, we have PS2 port, coaxial, VGA, HDMI, and this is the Wi-Fi right there, so you plug the antenna in there, and yeah, that goes into the board basically. 2 USB 2, 1 eSATA, 1 Bluetooth, 2 USB 3, gigabit Ethernet, another 2 USB 2, and then your audio out. So that's a fairly nice I/O, I must admit that. Got a nice number of USB ports, got your LAN, you've got your Wi-Fi, which is a very nice thing to have because it means you're not taking up your PCI Express slot with a Wi-Fi card or any of your USB slots, so that's really nice to have. So that concludes my unboxing of the MSI. Oh, let's put it in the view of the camera. Quite hard to do unbox, I think, this small. So yeah, that concludes. Actually, let's have a quick look at the back of the board, shall we? Okay, not much to see there. In fact, nothing at all. Right, except that it's very busy. So, that concludes my unboxing of the MSI FM2-A75IA-E53. Thank you for watching. Remember to comment, rate and subscribe, and stay tuned for some more videos while I move this back into the camera again. Thanks for watching and goodbye.